May I?
Please.
I do think one thing, though, and this is outside looking in, this is just an opinion. It does not make me right. But I do think that from what I'm new to like the whole conversations that you've been having, like the newer conversations. I've been watching the newer conversations. The one thing that I do think is, even though it's the truth, there's a way to tell it. And what I mean by that is, I would love to see more of a protection around y'all as a unit. And why I say that is because if she's responding, does she feel protected? Do you know what I mean?
I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
But this is what I tell her, baby. It's too many.
I just want to stop it right there. I know we got a couple ladies on the panel, and he mentioned about being protected, right? How important is it for a woman to feel protected for the men that may not know? Or maybe it might not be a thing. Maybe it might just be a thing for you. But how important is it to feel protected in a relationship?
Extremely. I think it would, I mean, for a guy to understand, I think it may be right up there with respect for a man, right? So it's pretty important.
Okay, so
to feel protected in a relationship. Because what else is there without protection?
Well, when they say protected, somebody may be like, protected how? Right? So can you break that down as far as being protected how?
So each person needs protection in different ways, right? So what I may need protecting in may be something totally different. It's such a big, you know, it's so big. It's not just like, oh, physically protected. I need to know our relationship is protected. Whatever you got going on, it's not going to affect our relationship or our household. Protection financially. People don't like to talk about that, but that's the truth. Doesn't mean you're paying for everything. It's just that we're financially secure. Protection as far as emotional protection. You take what I have going on in consideration. You understand where I'm coming from. You because women are emotional, men are logical. So you understand that about a female, and you protect that. You calm me down, I guess, so to speak. You're just there for me. In this case, I would say something like, you know, I think in her situation, are we talking about Jasmine, the girl who's pregnant? I guess I'm not seeing the holes to be able to talk about their situation.
I didn't want you to talk about them. I just
so it's going to be per the individual. Every female requires a different level of protection in a different area. It just depends on who they are. But it's just so many areas to be protected in. It's not just one area. It's definitely a series of things that you can be protected in. But it's important. Extremely important.
All right. What about you, Ms. Coco? And I'll come to Rilla.
Well, Shan said everything. I mean, for the most part, I think men sometimes lack protecting women in the emotional aspect. For example, I know we're not talking about them, but for example, I mean, with him talking out loud about their relationship, she claims that they discuss it so she knows what he's going to say about them before he goes on hand. But the backlash she gets afterwards, that's not protecting her emotions and her mental. So, like Shan said, it's an individual thing. And in that aspect, even though she's claiming to be happy, she can't possibly be behind the scenes mentally okay with everything, especially for the people that's followed her. I've been following her for maybe over 10 years since I was in Vegas. And she started off being that girl that joked about the chicks that would accept anything for a guy just to say they got a man, won't leave a man just so they can say they kept one. So it's just interesting to see the change on the other side from her being that type of woman to going into a complete servant and just completely accepting him to control the relationship publicly and personally. So for that, with an example, like men don't protect women's emotions. And that causes women to lose their mind. That's why they start doing crazy stuff. That's why y'all windows get bust out, like all this stuff. Because, you know, some women can't control their emotions, so they act out of emotion. And I think the men are the one that's supposed to lead that. If you don't know how to calm a woman down and you don't know how to make a woman feel emotionally protected, then you kind of out of order as a man. That's how I feel.
And can I add something to that so they can just better understand it too? I think that, sorry, jumping. give you an example, especially in the dating phase, right? I think men know that once you get a woman emotionally, you got her, right? So it's what you're going to do with that, because women are not necessarily, when a woman is in love, she ain't the person she is when she ain't in love, okay? You have her entire heart. Ain't too much she wouldn't do for you if she's in love with you. But how are you going to handle that? Are you going to use it for the good? Or are you going to lead her down a toxic path? Because we know y'all had a woman who was in love with y'all. You know what love feel like, right? And when a woman is in love, it's almost like she lose her mind. Her friends like, what the girl? And so sometimes, that one dude comes in there and he got you just hit, like you literally lost your mind. Your logic has left the building, right? And so protection, if you're with the right man, he understands the power of your love and how much it has over you. And that's like your superpower, your love, right? And he uses it for the good, not necessarily to do, take advantage of you in any way, form, or fashion. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
All right, go ahead, Rilla. I know you want to say something.
No, I just, I guess slight pushback. So I think when we have these conversations, the nuances are the nuances, right? So we understand the details. Mm-hmm. But ladies, for the most part, I know y'all like to say, like, everybody's an individual. If me, Hank, JR, and Luis was to have a conversation around women and just didn't put a name on it, we would speak in generalities, and each brother would be like, yep, I get what you're saying. Yep, I understand. Right? So what both of you all ended up saying was, and I agree with you, is that women prioritize their emotions being protected, right? And that's fair, right? And I think it's important because when JR opened up the floor, he said, I don't want y'all to respond to their situation. I want y'all to give the people something. And a lot of times if we're saying like, well, each person is individual, that part is true, but there are some overarching generalities that everybody can align and agree on. And for that, I would think it would be women prioritizing their emotions. But I also think that if a man is a good leader, then he should be aware of that and deal with that accordingly. Like, you got to know how to read a room. You got to know your person, who you're dealing with, and address them accordingly. I'm on mute.
And can I say this real fast to Chicago? The reason why I say some women, because I'm going to be real with you. This new generation, I don't think emotions has anything to do with it. I think a lot of them are like my past generation. You want to be in love with your partner. This is the guy who you are feeling like that. This new one, some people get married just to be married. Some people like, oh, he looks good on paper. So in that case, they're going up from the head and not necessarily the heart. So I just wanted to get everybody, but you're absolutely right. For the most part, most women, the majority of women want to be emotionally protected. You're absolutely correct. I agree.
Yeah, and Shan, they're still humans. Like, God didn't create them any different, right? But I understand like these, because I say the same thing at 50, like, yo, this new generation, is different. And they are. But only the players change. The game remains the same.